Let's take one.
In a house like this, you might expect to see a ghost. You might expect to hear sounds in the night. Footsteps. Chains. The wailing of a lost soul. You might be expected to be afraid. I'm in a house many people say is haunted. Sensible, level-headed people. People beyond reproach. This broadcast is about haunted houses and the people on both sides of the veil who inhabit them. We'll visit some of New York's classic haunted houses and hear their stories. We'll go to a home on Staten Island where the family is plagued by unearthly happenings. We'll try to photograph a ghost. And, of course, we'll attend a seance. Everything you will see beyond this point was documented exactly as it happened. Nothing beyond this moment was staged. Perhaps by the end of this broadcast, even you will believe in ghosts.
I just moved in my new house today. Moving was hard, but I got squared away. Bells started ringing and chains rattled out. I knew I'd moved in a haunted house. Say yes, I'll be here when the morning comes. I'll be right here and I ain't gonna run. I bought this house nice
It doesn't look like something from a 1931 Universal horror movie, does it? It isn't. It happens to be a 3rd Avenue walk-up in Manhattan. And yet many people, mostly ex-occupants, swear that behind this window, the restless spirit of a social worker named Gray still walks the corridors of his old apartment. The wife of the owner of this Greenwich Village nightclub and a waiter claimed to have been visited by the shade of Aaron Burr in the barroom. Strangely enough, an investigation proved the old building to once have been the infamous Burr stables. A much publicized ghost is said to have kept June Havoc awake nights in her New York townhouse until the spirit of Lucy Ryan was exorcised by parapsychologist Hans Holzer. Clinton Court on Manhattan's west side is built on what was once a vast graveyard for the poor. Over the years, literally scores of people have claimed to have had strange visitations here, supposedly from the other side of the veil. In New Jersey, the family that lives in this home prefers to remain anonymous. The reason? The husband is a school teacher and the wife a respected community leader. They prefer that it not be known that they both saw a man on their stairway whom they believe was author Albert Payson Terhune. Terhune died in 1942. Oh yes, when the man reached the bottom of the stairs, our publicity-shy couple say he vanished into thin air. It seems the house once belonged to Terhune's sister. Are there such things as ghosts? Haunted houses? Hans Holzer is a ghost hunter. He is also a reporter. And Holzer admits to being a performer. Nevertheless, he is one of the most respected parapsychologists in the country. I asked him to meet me at the Jumel Mansion in Manhattan, where a few years ago, a group of school children was horrified by what they believed to be the apparition of Madame Lucy Jumel, who died over a century ago. Mr. Holzer, you have written 3 books now about your searching for ghosts and your finding them. You've written Ghost Hunter and Yankee Ghost and Ghosts I've Met. If I may ask this in a nice way, could it be that you got interested in this vocation not because ghosts exist, but because it's a good livelihood to write about them?
Well, as a former reporter and parapsychologist, naturally I welcome to write about subjects that are acceptable to the public, but my interest is primarily because these are authenticated cases that I've actually researched and found to be true.
Well, if I can simply put it bluntly, how can you prove that ghosts exist?
By talking to reliable witnesses, checking them out, and in some instances lately by photographing what seems to be actual apparitions in the atmosphere.
Well, if ghosts do exist, as you say, how come they aren't an everyday occurrence, something that everyone sees all the time?
Because ghosts, in the terms of parapsychology, which of course I have defined, are the surviving emotional memories of people who have died under tragic conditions and who cannot accept the fact that they are no longer within the physical body and consequently panic and want to call attention to their being in the place where their death has occurred. But ghosts do not travel. They stay put in the very spot where their tragedy has occurred.
Isn't it possible for you to just research the story before you go to the location so that you would know the background before you went there?
I mustn't know about them. I do not know about them, nor does my psychic. I want to get the information firsthand through an entranced psychic, and after I have gotten this information, I will check it out. Otherwise, one might very rightly accuse me of using telepathy, of reading the mind or having my mind read by the psychic present.
If, as you said before, a ghost is anxious to make himself known, why do you have to work with a medium?
They are like telephones between two worlds. It's sort of a shortcut that makes it possible for me to talk directly to the alleged ghost. And of course, by obtaining this information firsthand, I can check it out quicker. Remember, I have about 100 cases a month now.
One of Holz's recent cases took him to Staten Island. Still a little skeptical, I asked to go along. The house was on Grimes Hill, and its owner, Mrs. Barbara Darr, believed it to be haunted. Mrs. Darr wrote to Holzer asking that he conduct a psychic investigation. Holzer never charges for these, but he does use the material gathered in his books. The first step before calling in a psychic or medium to contact the alleged ghost is for all persons who experienced anything even in the least supernatural in the house to be questioned. Mrs. Darr was the first to tell her story.
One afternoon I was up here resting, and my partner, Norman Pate, was down cellar, and he was working in the artwork. And we were expecting a friend of ours to come in and do some work with us.
Yes.
And I heard the front door open and close, and I heard somebody walking across the floor, and I figured this was my friend Sylvia. And I went down about 10 minutes later, and I asked Norman, I said, "Sylvia here?" He said, "No." And I also had heard voices. I heard them talking downstairs.
Now, what kind of voices did you hear?
Women's voices in the cellar.
And there was no one there?
No, and nobody had come in, and nobody had walked across the floor. Absolutely, nobody had been here. Later on, this happened more recently. I heard tappings in this room.
In this room, which
Yeah.
is your bedroom, I
Yes,
think.
and it was over by this wardrobe over here.
And did you check whether there was any natural reason for these tappings?
I checked everything. The thing that made me realize or think that this was an unnatural thing was the irregularity of the tapping. And I lay in the bed. It was early. It was in the morning, Sunday morning, and my daughter was here, and she heard it also. And we were both listening to it, and we both concentrated on the tapping. And the more we thought about it, the more we heard. And it was almost like a Morse code. You know,
It sounded
staccato.
regular, in other words, as if
Well, it
someone
would
was
go-
trying to communicate?
Yeah, it would come and go, and it would also get louder and softer.
Tell me, then, this house is how many floors?
I say it's 4 floors, counting the basement, which is above ground.
Right. And where would you say are most of the uncanny noises concentrated?
Up in the attic, upstairs.
I see. Did you hear footsteps in any other part of the house?
No. One night, we all heard a tremendous bang, like the grand piano slam. I mean, I didn't know quite where it came from, but it woke up the whole house. And we all came downstairs, and we just sort of sat around and talked about it. And like, what was this? We couldn't figure it out. I mean, nothing had fallen. And then the next morning, I got up and I went downstairs, and all the paintings on one wall had all been placed carefully in a pile. All of the knickknacks along one shelf had been taken off the shelf. Like here was one thing here was put right down the floor, underneath, all along the wall. And then one painting had been about 12, 15 feet away from the other paintings, and that was taken, had been put on top of the whole pile. And also a piece of sculpture that was in the corner of the gallery that had been laid over. And it's a very delicate piece, so it couldn't have fallen. It had been put carefully. And I saw this, and this didn't make me feel so good.
As the Staten Island questioning continued, a member of our documentary unit staff returned to Manhattan to pick up psychic Sybil Leek. Mrs. Leek knew nothing of the case, nor even where she was being taken.
I don't spend all my day thinking about spirits. I have a scientific mind. I'm only interested in the scientific investigation of psychic phenomena. I'm not a spiritualist, and I function in many other ways than as a trance medium.
I understand you're Ronnie Boyle,
Yes.
and you're a dental technician,
Yes.
and you also do housework. You fixed the pipe in this house, I believe.
Yes.
When you were in this house before Mrs. Dar moved in, did you have some unusual experiences here?
Yes, I have. I was working here one weekend. It was on a Saturday. And I was working overhead, over there. And I heard footsteps
Where did you hear the footsteps?
right overhead here.
And did you go upstairs?
Yes.
And what did you find?
I didn't find anything.
There was no one in the house outside
No.
of yourself?
Right.
Did you hear anything unusual on other occasions?
Yes, well, about a week before Mrs. Dar moved in, I was painting upstairs at night. See, I work during the day, and
Yes.
I was painting nights here. And I heard a few, like I've been painting in a room, and I'll hear noises in other rooms.
What sort of noises?
Of like footsteps and like, you know,
Human noises?
yeah, like things being knocked over and things like that.
Did you spend some time in the attic at one time and hear anything unusual up there?
Yeah, well, I was up the attic for one day, but the noises come from up in the attic, but not while I was there.
I see, but
When I was
there's...
working below the attic, that's when I heard the noises upstairs.
And you always check whether anyone's causing
Yeah,
these
I
noises?
go up and there's never anything there.
I think most people have ESP, an awareness, a basic intuition, but they're not able to use it. But psychicness goes a little deeper than this. You have to really let yourself go to get the full effects and advantages of psychicness.
Miriam Lifson, you were in this house once before, and I understand you heard some noises while you were in one of the rooms upstairs at night. What exactly did you hear?
It was the sound of furniture moving around over the room where I slept.
I see. Did you hear any footsteps?
Yes, it sounded like somebody was walking around and pushing furniture, and as if somebody was rearranging the whole room. I not only heard the furniture moving around, but somebody actually came down the attic stairs, opened the door, and shut it, and I got up out of bed and looked in the hall to see who it was, and there was nobody there.
Nobody there?
It was a strange bed night. I didn't sleep most of the
Yes.
night.
On occasions there has been some violence. In one trance, my earrings, which were in pierced ears, were pulled from my ears. My ears were there to be torn. And sometimes I do have bruises. You know, this is quite unpleasant, but I don't feel anything in the actual trance. When I come out, if there's a bruise or a torn ear, then I feel it.
Norman Tate, you live in this house in Staten Island. You've had some unusual experiences in your room upstairs, which I believe is underneath the attic. What exactly happened?
Well, one night when Philip was away,
The boy, the young boy who
that's
did it, yes.
right. I heard footsteps. First they were like pacing back and forth, maybe for a minute or so, and then there was a hurried footstep, like he was leaving in a hurry, or whoever it was up there.
Was there anyone, in fact, at the time upstairs?
No,
You were alone?
that's true.
Did you at any time have any visual impression of a ghost or an entity in this house?
Yes, one night I felt as though the presence of a woman dark hair, rather slightly built, and a white nightgown.
If there is a presence, I will know. And this can't be manufactured. Either there is a presence and I will feel it and it needs to communicate. But if there is nothing, I feel nothing. Some people get very disappointed. They love me to go to their house and say, oh, I might have a ghost. And, you know, they have nothing, and they should be thankful. Everybody doesn't need a ghost.
In a moment, we'll find out just who is in the attic.
Sybil, I want you to relax completely. Are you comfortable now?
Yes.
I want you to relax completely, to close your eyes, please, and to let go completely. As I count to 10, I want you to be completely relaxed and to just go to sleep for a little while so that those who might be present in this house could speak through you, directly to us. As I count to 10, I want you to be completely relaxed. 1 step by step further down. 2 step, 3.
You are about to see the seance at the Dar household that I was witness to. It was photographed under existing room light on the same ultra-high-speed black and white film Halsey used for his stills, in the hope that the camera might capture something our eyes failed to see. The seance lasted about 1 hour and 20 minutes. You will see the highlights compressed into about 9 minutes. Listen to every word carefully.
You're very relaxed. You will allow whoever might be present in this house to use your vocal cords and to communicate with us directly, to tell us whatever their problem might be. What is your name? Don't be afraid. Speak loudly. Speak.
Lloyd.
Who are you? Speak up. I cannot hear you yet. Shout at me. Shout at me. I didn't hear you. Would you repeat that again?
I want to
What is your name?
Dorothy.
Dorothy. Dorothy. Do you have a family name, Dorothy?
Van.
What is your name?
Who are you?
I'm a friend who's come to help you. When were you born?
1794.
And
Who are you?
where were you born?
I was born here. Think.
What is your father's name?
Pieter.
Peter?
Pieter. 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 Pieter.
What is the family name? Tell me your family.
De Wint.
DeWitt?
Wint.
Winter. Are you married?
De Wint. What do you want?
Were you married?
Married? No. Father is married.
You are not married. Do you have any children? You have
I don't like children. I don't like that girl. I'm not very well, you know.
What's wrong with you?
Well, that girl upsets me. Why don't they send those children away?
Don't you like children?
No.
Why don't you like children?
People upset me.
Now, what is it that you want done?
I want to be alone here.
Why do you want to be alone here?
In my house, and I don't want those children upsetting everything. And they moved me, you know. They took me upstairs.
Who sent you upstairs? Who did that?
Peter and the children.
Peter and the children sent you upstairs.
I know you.
And what happened upstairs?
I was very... What do you want?
I want to help you. I want to help you find peace and to do whatever you want to bring it to you. Now, what happened upstairs when you moved upstairs?
I'm ill.
You're ill?
I'm ill. I want a drink. I'm giving me a drink. I want a drink. My lips are sore. I want a drink. A girl bring me a drink. He's poisoned it.
What is that? Someone is poisoning you?
Yeah.
Who is poisoning you?
I can't drink anything.
Why can't you drink anything?
They poison me.
Oh, come now. Why should they want to poison you? Why would they want to poison you?
House. Want it?
Now, these children, tell me.
A drink.
Huh? All right, I'll
Want a
bring you.
drink.
All right, I'll give you a drink, Dorothy. Look, just a second. Just a second, Dorothy. I will help you. Whose children are they that you refer to? Dorothy, now. Peter's children?
Peter's children.
But you are Peter's daughter.
Peter's daughter.
Hmm?
Daughter.
Aren't you his daughter?
Yes. Those children don't say me.
How old are the children? How old are the children?
Oh, little 13, 13, 15, I think. Oh, don't do it.
Now, what are you doing in this house?
You bring me a drink.
I'll bring you a drink as soon as we've finished talking.
You must drink it with me.
Tell me, what are you doing in this house? Are you moving around in it? Or are you staying still?
No. I have to move around at night.
Why at night?
When they're asleep. And then I can get something to drink.
How old are you? How old are you now? How old are you?
Now, 23. Old enough to have this house.
Now, you want to be helped to get well, don't you?
I want a drink.
All right. Now, this house is no
Why
longer
don't
your
you
house.
give me a drink,
I will give you a drink as soon as you will listen to me. All right. Now, Dorothy.
Get up.
Dorothy.
I shall get up. I go down the steps.
What steps? Where are you going?
To the water. And I shall kill those children.
Dorothy, your house belongs to someone else. A lot of time has gone on since you owned this house. Many years have gone on. You've been very ill.
Don't worry me.
You've been very ill. You've been very ill.
Don't worry me.
You've been very ill. And when you were very ill, you slowly but surely passed over into another world. And although you don't realize it, you've gone over, and many years have come and gone, and someone else has bought this house.
I know.
Do you understand me?
I don't know you.
You must let
worry
go.
me.
You must let go of this house. You must let go. There's no one here anymore who remembers you. They're all gone. They're all gone.
Oh, not leaving.
Not leaving. Not leaving. Not leaving. Not leaving. Not leaving.
Holzer's next step was to attempt to corroborate as many of Dorothy DeWint's statements as possible. Staten Island directories and surveyors' records failed, however, to substantiate the existence of a Dorothy DeWint or her father Peter in the 1790s. We did learn that Mrs. Darr's house was not built until 1912, but that another structure had stood on the same Grimes Hill lot for many years before. On our third day of research, Hans discovered in Volume 4, Staten Island Church Records, a listing for a minister who was pastor of the North Side Church from 1750 to 1752, when he was dismissed because his credentials were fraudulent. The minister's name? Petrus DeWint. Quoth the raven, nevermore. You've heard the testimony, seen the facts unfold. Is there an existence beyond the veil, something between reality and immortality? I was a witness to all that you have seen, and I don't know. I'm not sure.
I just moved in my new house today. Moving was hard, but I got squared away. Bells started ringing and chains rattled loud. I knew I'd moved in a haunted house. See, yes, I'll be here when the morning